I need you guys to understand something. Although Zohran has not won yet, hopefully, inshallah, he will. Understand that there are those who are watching closely exactly what the margins will look like. And I can predict with absolute certainty exactly what the messaging is going to look like in the aftermath of this. They've already started. The centrist establishment Democrats have already started talking about here. Yeah, I'll let in the light of the divine, the heavens mandate into this room. Centrist Democrats have already started talking about how, like, oh, Spamberger has a higher margin of victory than Zohran Mamdani, all this stuff. And they are going to make idiotic comparisons as though we haven't been paying close attention. And many people have not been paying close attention to what's going on in this race. So they have no idea the metric ton of shit that the Mamdani campaign had to deal with, and the very fact that there was a spoiler with a dynastic name still, right, that was running as a real Democrat, even though he was running as an independent. Central Committee says, my official prediction was 56% yesterday with a range of 52 to 60. Reports on the ground reflected the polls missed again, and I think we may be entering landslide territory, but we need to see the early votes before we relax too much. I've read the Michael Lang analysis. I understand where people are coming from. I will not say anything. I already gave you my prediction. I said somewhere in the 55 range, and that the surprising vote would be from the 55 plus category that a lot of people think is supposed to go in Cuomo's direction. But then again, we shall see. I am not going to say anything. I am just saying I'm hoping and I'm praying. There's never been, I'm not exactly a very spiritual person, but I will say that I have been praying to whatever deity is out there. Okay, that's it. I have not, this shit got me praying to gods, hoping that anyone will listen. Okay. Oh my God. Have you been this emotionally invested in a campaign in years? I haven't. Last time I felt this, I don't want to bring it up. I don't even want to talk about it. But I mean, both Bernie campaigns, especially the moment of hope and optimism that I felt, that I know many of your favorite content creators and podcasters and activists and advocates alike felt in the aftermath of Bernie Sanders' upset victory. That wasn't really an upset if you actually saw the reality on the ground in 2020 in Vegas. But once again, what came after that was something that we all know very well, which is precisely the reason why I will stay the course. I will stay the course, and I will be restrained until the very last moment. As far as analysis goes, you will see some of the absolute worst, some of the most annoying centrist analysis coming out in the aftermath of this, whichever direction it goes. Okay? God forbid there is a defeat here. They will greatly overemphasize how resounding the voters denied the socialist momentum. If there is a victory, no matter what the margin is, if the margin is above 60%, right? Unlikely, but let's say it's 60% territory, they will say, oh, it's New York. Of course they voted for a socialist. If it's anything, if it's anything in the 5-point range, they will say, look at the tiny sliver that Zohran got. He does not have the popular mandate, that he barely eked out a victory here. He barely squeezed a victory here. They will deny the unlimited money that was dumped into this campaign and the electioneering that took place. Okay? I'm just letting you guys know ahead of time. I have thought of all of the alternatives and I have seen it. They will say, they will try to match what Zohran's election looks like with Omar Fateh. They will make comparisons, even though these are not comparable in the same way, right? Depending on whichever way the Minneapolis vote goes for mayor. And they will do everything they can. They'll tell you what works in New York won't work everywhere else. Okay? They will say that. It's all bullshit. Edward Isaac Dover, by the way, did this already. If polls hold, Spamberger's looking more likely to clear 50% in a more swingy state than Mamdani is in a city so Democratic that only 6 out of 51 city council members are Republicans. Dems nationally say that matters a lot for thinking what comes next. Even Dan Pfeiffer The Podjons are up Edward Isaac Dover's ass, okay? I'm not sure the answer to what comes next will be found in these results, but that's an absurd standard since Zohran Mamdani's running in a three-way race that includes another Dem. They've already started. They've already started with the sinister bullshit, okay? And we haven't even seen the results yet. And they've already started with this nonsensical bullshit. Michael Lange, with each passing second, I'm more bullish on Zohran Mamdani exceeding 55%. Inshallah, inshallah, inshallah. Manhattan. Allah Nazardan Sak, listen. Manhattan and Brooklyn continue to turn out in droves with lines reported across base neighborhoods. We're pacing a record number of votes. The vibes are screaming landslide, okay? This person did a literal district by district analysis, and he sees the same day voting that took place as an indication that like it's actually better than his predicted results. He did a block by block voter analysis, and his initial predictions showed 52% for Zohran. And it seems it might even outperform that. Can we not say this is not a referendum on Dem leadership? Would the Dems be fighting to barely stop the Republicans in Congress if the Zohran race was not happening? I think that there is definitely a push in the right direction. What? Red alert. White House prepares to issue executive orders on upcoming elections. I think we should care about the person with the highest percentage. Michelle Wu, momentum, let's go. I don't know what the that means. And let me tell you, I'm not excited to find out. I don't know where the source of that statement is. Anyway, let's look at the analysis, key races to watch.
Let me begin with you. We're watching a key governor's race in Virginia.
Yes, we will know the results of New York tonight. We will know the results of New York tonight, immediately after the polls close, which is going to be at, I think we will know by 9 p.m., like a little after 9 p.m. my time, 9 p.m. In the next 4 hours or so, less than 4 hours, 3 hours and 30 minutes. Hannity et al. Has been talking all day about Zohran being listed twice on the ballot, Cuomo being low, early voting, etc. They're calling for mass reform. Trump threatens legal action against mail voting in California redistricting election. Nice. Of course. Of course he's doing that. All right, let's continue.
Voting in California, also key race in New Jersey.
Yeah, good morning, George. The only other state other than New Jersey that is electing a governor this year is Virginia. Polls show the Democrat Abigail Spanberger leading the Republican Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl-Sears consistently. A Democratic win there would not be a surprise. Virginia's been trending blue, and in governor's races, the state almost always votes against the party in the White House. Guys?
All right, but let's talk about California. What we're seeing there on the ballot is the issue of congressional districts. What can you say about that?
Yeah, that's right, Robin. Voters in California are being asked to approve a new map for congressional districts. This is the latest in what's become an unusual redistricting war.
Are you going to cover the Zohran watch party, or are you covering it all here in your room? I will be going to the Zohran election party. I will be going there, and I will be live streaming it. Okay. Why don't we talk about Virginia and New Jersey? I will. I've talked about Virginia, not so much about New Jersey, but I will be talking about them right now.
Right here in the middle of the decade, Governor Gavin Newsom pushed a plan to squeeze as many as 5 additional Democratic seats out of the state, and this could be the result, a House map that is bluer than ever. Now, Newsom has cast this as an answer to what Trump and Republicans have been doing for months now. These are the states that are either trying to pass or have already passed new congressional maps this year. The dark red ones are the ones where Republicans have already put new maps into effect. And even if California's law passes today, Republicans are likely to end up with a few more seats out of these new districts when all is said and done, going into a year where the balance of power in Congress could hardly be tighter.
No question about it, Mary. That California race, of course, matters to President Trump. The Democrats in Virginia and New Jersey have also made him the central issue.
George, the president is well aware that 1 year after he returned back to the White House, this is the first major test of how voters feel about what the president has done in office over the last 9 months. He knows that these results will be seen as either a repudiation or a stamp of approval of his administration, and that the economy and affordability are the central issues for so many. The president and his policies have loomed large over all of these races. Trump is featured heavily in ads and on these debate stages. We've seen Democrats slamming his record, Republicans embracing endorsing the president, but also trying not to dismiss those very real concerns about the economy and rising costs. And the president notably has not been out campaigning in person. Instead, he's relied heavily on social media and these tele-rallies that Aaron mentioned to get out his message. And of course, the stakes are tremendously high for Democrats as well in their strategy to take on Trump, to oppose this administration and the divisions within their own party as we barrel toward the midterms, George.
Mary Bruce, thanks.
And let's turn to our man at the big board here, NBC News chief data analyst Steve Kornacki. Political nerds love this off-year election. It's our first glimpse potentially at how the electorate is feeling. So where in those seats that we just talked about, where do things stand?
Yeah, let's take a look. Start in Virginia. The polls will close there first tonight. And you've got Abigail Spanberger against the lieutenant governor here. It would be an upset tonight if this race is won by Earl Sears. She has trailed significantly in the polling. You do see this is a blue state. Kamala Harris won this last year over Donald Trump by just under 6 points. One thing we're keeping an eye on, by the way, just outside, excuse me there, Savannah, just outside Washington, D.C., Northern Virginia, federal employees in the shutdown. What effect is that having on this race? In New Jersey, this is the one tonight Republicans think they have a shot at. Jack Ciattarelli ran 4 years ago.
Not gonna lie, Holy Toledo guy kind of stole Kornacki's flow. I low-key agree with you. I do. I think Kornacki has also been like kind of odd with the way that he's been kind of, Harry Emden has kind of taken over, more dynamic. And I think that Kornacki is a little bit washed, I'm not gonna lie, because he's been so restrained. Like Holy Toledo reads the room a little bit better. I know that I'm sure that he wasn't super on board with the Zomentum initially, but he's much less reluctant to shit on him. Whereas Steve Kornacki used to be my GOAT, but everything that I've seen from him has been almost like an endless sequence of you being like, well, here's how Zohran could lose still.
Governor nearly beat Phil Murphy. He's currently the incumbent. The polling has put Mikey Sherrill ahead, but much closer than Virginia. This race tonight is going to hinge on a very particular type of voter. They are voters who don't like Donald Trump, but 4 years ago, they were willing to vote for Ciattarelli. With Trump back in the White House, can he still win those voters over? He needs to have a chance tonight. And of course, this New York City.
Dude, it's so funny. Why won't you talk about New Jersey or V8? Brother, we're literally looking at New Jersey. Like while you are typing that question, it straight up is talking about the New Jersey governor race. Like, just look here, open your ears, open your eyes, please, chatters.
He needs to have a chance tonight. And of course, this New York City, biggest city in the country, high profile race, certainly. Zohran Mamdani, who defeated Andrew Cuomo in the Democratic primary by 12 points. Cuomo running as an independent. Curtis Sliwa, the Republican. The polling has put Mamdani ahead, thanks in no small part to the fact that the opposition to him is split between these two candidates.
And perhaps why Donald Trump was weighing in last night, signaling to Republicans to vote for Cuomo in that race. Let's talk about some of the issues that people are focused on. We've got a recent NBC News poll.
Yeah, we came out with one on Sunday to sort of set the playing field for this week. And here you go. This is Donald Trump. We asked voters, is he living up or is he falling short of expectations?
Ooh, goddamn. That's a whole lot of red, baby. That is not looking good. Not looking good at all. Where does this movement go? A movement that has no popular base. A movement that has no popular mandate, never had a popular mandate, that has gotten increasingly less popular. Will it reach, depending on how mistreated the working class is, especially considering that he ran on affordability, won on affordability, did not actually deliver on affordability. Will the American independents and the American working class that I'm tweaking the dials, don't worry. Will the American independents and the American working class that saw that recognizes their material conditions not changing but worsening, as a matter of fact, will they actually respond negatively? We shall see. I am from Germany. This election means so much to me. The leftist world is watching. Yes. Yes. Guys, one of the most the people don't understand this, okay? There is, or we must build international solidarity, okay? We must build international solidarity. This is something that I recognize. This is something that I understand. This is something that I advocate for. It is crucial, okay? It is crucial to build a working class movement. And that is the reason why I travel the world and I go and I talk to people that do represent similar values in their respective nations, okay? Whether it be France Unbowed or whether it be the Green Party or even your party as well, Corbyn, like whether it be working with groups like Progressive International, like there are people all around the world, including in Western liberal capitalist democracies, that recognize that liberalism is failing, and they look to the United States of America, the heart of empire, and the heart of capitalism, which is where the financial capital of the world is. And they look at this race and they want to be excited. They want to hold on to hope that change might be coming. Some kind of change might be coming. Now, it might not be the most consequential change, and God knows it's going to be quite difficult to implement even the most modest of reforms. But yes, this is an inspirational candidacy. This is an inspirational campaign for so many people. There are probably more chatters from all around the world watching today than ever before. And a lot of Americans, I think, refuse to recognize that. And it's like it feels like it's almost selfish, where you're just like looking at this moment of hope and you just go, it's not good enough for me. It's like, it blows my mind. It blows my mind, really. In any case, let's continue with the fucking horrifying numbers of Donald Trump.
Wanted to highlight this because these marks, I think, 34, 33, 30% say he's living up when it comes to the economy, looking out for the middle class, inflation, cost of living. These are issues people say are top of mind for them. These are issues where he fared pretty well in his first term, and we really see his numbers dropping in this second term. And what that also has led to for Trump is an approval rating overall of just 43%. That typically has spelled problems for candidates in a president's party when a president reaches that level.
All right, Steve Kornacki, thank you very much.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show every morning on NBC or take Today.
New Yorkers are spending a lot of their time talking about one man.
Who are you voting for?
Definitely for Mamdani.
Yeah, Mamdani.
And you're excited about him?
Yes, absolutely. Everybody excited.
Well, not everyone.
He's a radical. He's a radical leftist. He's a radical leftist.
It's just fear-mongering.
So who is he?
Socialism.
This is my brother. This is my favorite. This is that guy that you just saw is like, he's a radical. He's a socialist. That is my favorite type of guy. Okay. There are so many guys like that, man. Oh God. It's just so funny that you got so many insane hogs out in the wild, and we really unleashed them. We are leaning into our hog-like tendencies, man.
A self-declared democratic socialist who has stormed into the lead in the race to become New York mayor.
I'm not saying you're single-handedly responsible for Zohran being elected, but how do you feel about the possibility your interview with him early on was a small, highly consequential domino that led to this point? We all play a role in this. You all play a role in this. It's not the interview that I did with Zohran that's consequential. It's the fact that there are members of this community that were primed, that were excited at the prospect of joining a campaign that was so hopeful, joining a campaign that was built around and centered around affordability, okay? It is the New York DSA, it's the Working Families Party. There are so many people that played a significant role in this happening, okay? I did nothing. I am nothing without you, okay? I am nothing without my community. This is, and Zohran is nothing without all of the people that played a formative role in his campaign as well. That's how this works. That is how this works. Okay? All you did was hang out and eat donuts. Exactly. Wouldn't do shit. Bro poured cold water into his coffee. Okay, let's not blow his head up too much. I wouldn't have been a leftist if it weren't for Hasan, and I was a Zohran canvasser back in the primary. Exactly. But once again, you did it. Okay? You did it. Because if it wasn't for all of you that actually go out and take the things that we're talking about, the things that we're communicating, and put it into motion, then we go nowhere. Then I'm just a random dickhead who is yelling into the void. That's why I can't believe the amount of attention that I've gotten from all of the haters and losers, the billionaires and the millionaires that have put the crosshairs on your boy, because I'm inconsequential. You know, I am utterly inconsequential. I'm nothing. There will be someone else who will fill this void one day. It is the momentum. It is the people. That's what makes the difference. It's the people who dream of a better future and say, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to take a shot in the dark. Because the reality of the matter is, nobody thought, even Zohran himself did not think that he would get to this point, I don't think. I mean, obviously that was the goal, but it would not have happened. It would not have happened without all of the people that have put so much work into turning him into a vessel for change, a vessel for positive change. The bullet that shoots down capitalism would not fire if every grain of gunpowder did not do its part. Yes. You claim to be inconsequential, yet you single-handedly caused Kamala's defeat. Yeah, I'll entertain that more depending on the results of tonight, okay? I don't like other people telling me what's anti-Semitic. Zach Cady, 37, who brought his 2 children to vote when he cast his vote for Zohran Mamdani outside the Met on Saturday. As a Jewish family, I find Cuomo's position offensive and patronizing, he said. Criticism of Israel is not anti-Semitic. Whoo! Smoke him. The why does Mamdani obsess over Israel talking point would always be sleazy and bad faith, but it's especially so when his primary competition decided himself unilaterally and apropos of nothing to volunteer for Netanyahu's war crime defense. Either it's a thing or it's not. Yeah. I can't believe that they tried to do that, by the way. You say you're nothing, but thanks to you, I'm even more annoying than I was before. I didn't think that was possible. I mean, I'm just a regular ass dude, okay? I'm an immensely fortunate, immensely privileged person who recognizes their privilege, who tries to do the most with the crumb of influence that I have. But I always stress this importance to all of you. I always tell you, what do I always say? If it wasn't for this community, if you guys weren't in here right now, a terrorist, yes, exactly. I'm just a modest terrorist, okay? But if it wasn't for all of you that go out and knock on doors, if it wasn't for all of you that go out and unionize your workplace, if it wasn't for all of you that go out and organize in your communities, then I would just be one guy yelling into the void regardless. I'd be yelling about this. I'd still be yelling, but I'd be yelling to a much smaller audience, the same exact shit that I'm yelling as I was many years prior to this level of unprecedented success that I saw in this field that I never thought I would actually see any success in. You showed this before, but a canvassing lead in your hoodie? Yeah, I know. Yeah, we got HasanAbi has his like canvassing leads in there. It's just like, that's the thing that I'm most proud of. I'm most proud of this community. Man, I'm in Oklahoma, gross, at a very conservative college, so thank you for giving me the space to spend my time. Even if I have to turn my volume down, for the record, places like Oklahoma, which by the way, Bernie Sanders did win in the Democrat primary twice, are perfect places to start organizing in, okay? A lot of people, I think, unfairly cast aside these people that the Democratic Party has left behind because of the current style of polarization that exists in American politics. These are places that have the same exact struggles, if not have those struggles represented far worse than places like big cities. Okay? The idea that you cannot convince your neighbors, if you live in a red area, if you live in a red state, if you can't organize around the issues that are important to your neighbors is silly. Okay? Because these are places that are objectively forgotten by both parties, really. They just kind of rely on culture war to swing the votes, and they do successfully swing those votes with the culture war narratives and whatnot. But the antidote to that culture war posturing is a campaign that centers around affordability, the Zomentum, if you will, adjusted to the immediate needs of your neighbors, adjusted to the immediate needs of your local population. I do believe that the heartland and places like Oklahoma are perfect environments to organize, especially because the Democrats have kind of left them behind. So you don't necessarily have that same infrastructure, but that means you don't have that same friction as well. When affordability or material issues are never called into question, when they're never a prominent part of either campaign, whether it be the Democrats or the Republicans, then yes, of course, people just lean into their reactionary feelings, their fears, and end up voting alongside the culture war narratives. Democrats will always lose on the culture war. It's a much more comfortable narrative to just be like, yeah, everyone you don't know is terrifying, especially given how segmented and segregated the American population is, especially in rural areas. Okay? People fear what they do not know. There's a reason why it doesn't work the same in urban environments, because you are literally slammed with diversity everywhere you go. So you kind of realize that, you know, a black person or a brown person is no different than you, right? That's the reason why cities, big cities, are oftentimes blue, because they're like, well, yeah, these guys are running on racism, and I know what my neighbor is like. He's awesome, right?